Okay, so this is sort of a recap video of the past couple days. Oh, or last week, as the case may be. I got test results back for some issues I've been having with memory. The first reports, they prepared me for something not good, but the subsequent reports are not nearly as bad, so that's a win. I spent a lot of money that I don't have to fix a problem I shouldn't have with my landscaping in my backyard. We had a micro tornado come through and rip out 150 feet of 120-foot trees. A giant clump just got pulled up, and not on my property, but that was my backyard view. So they cut it down, and not all of it. They cut the part that pulled up and got knocked over, but left another 50, 60 feet of trees that are too tall, that need to be topped, that are one by one, every time I have a windstorm, they snap and fall over. So it looks like World War II in the backyard. So I went on Facebook Marketplace at 3 in the morning, because that's when the best decisions are to be made. Contacted and obsessed about bushes to sort of cover the disaster that isn't my responsibility, but is in my line of view. So ended up spending double what I thought. I didn't want to spend anything, honestly, but this is a word to the wise. Never depend on someone else to provide your privacy, and never depend on it, because you'll get fucked up something else. Where I live, there's an HOA, and there are ficus as far as the eye can see. But I live in the back corner at the end, and with those giant trees that are hanging, falling over, that will all come down eventually, because they don't just trim them, and you know what happens. Wind, volume, wind sail, fall down. Anyway, I'm rambling. Along that wall, there should be ficus for about 50 feet, 60 feet. There technically are ficus. They're like a stick with a branch. Everyone else has this giant 20-foot tall wall of green. And then you come to the end where my house is, and it's just a big empty nothing, and a stick with a couple twigs. So I got the bushes, and technically I was trying to get away with something, and I didn't, and I shouldn't have tried, but I just wanted it quick and wanted the problem to go away. I'm sure other people can understand that. So, as the landscaper came through the gate, the Gestapo called the HOA, which dispatched the golf cart to come and grill the landscaper and then grill me. In fairness, my HOA is probably a dream compared to most. Are they perfect? Fuck no. We'll go into that later. Back to the bushes. So I got 25-gallon Calusia. Nice bushy, so I could just cover the mess that lies in back. But, and this is my fault. It is. I get it. I don't need to hear it. Because I didn't follow the paperwork, blah, blah, blah. So they dropped the plants off. So I have 60 feet of Calusia bushes. Let's see. Look out the window real quick. Oh no, you can see, sort of see. That's out my bedroom window. Waiting to be placed. So now they've been sitting there for a week and a half, 2 weeks, and the sprinklers just went on. I want to move it off the grass, and grass is a term I use loosely because that's a whole nother story. Anyway, want to move the bushes off so I don't have all these circles running down the side of my house. But now the sprinklers went off, so fuck it. Probably not going to happen. But wrapping this up, my mind wanders. I apologize. The president of the HOA, who was sort of the Gestapo, but it wasn't his fault. It really is and was my fault for everything that happened. Got everything taken care of. So, long story longer, I have approval to plant the bushes. However, there's is a however coming. The however is the landscaper won't be back till 23rd of August. So, another 2 weeks, but I need to move those bushes and put them back. So, I can sort of begin to visualize what it'll look like to not see the street and not have people coming into my yard, which I've had to call the police on twice. It's really creepy. One guy had a knife and he was very aggressive, and being the way that I am, I give myself a lot of credit for calling the police. I guess they didn't consider that too important. It took an hour to get there, and when they got there, the officer, he was very nice. But the problem was, it was dusk. The sun had just set, and the guy had walked around the lake and was now on the other side. So the policeman had to find a way to drive around and drive over through and around through a golf course and yada, yada, yada. I know, this is like the most whiniest white person problem ever. And by the time he got onto the golf course, the guy was gone. So, upgraded security, and hope that's the end of that. Let's see, I went over test results. I think I did. Bushes. My ex. You know, I've been so lucky. I had met someone, and it's not it's like a friends with benefit kind of situation. But he's really been more of a friend than almost any of my friends. Go figure. But I'm still trying to drive him away because that's how I operate. If I push you away, then I don't get hurt. So that's my dysfunction. Full disclosure. But he came over last night, and it was a great, sexy time. And then I had to start talking. And then it was a therapy session. And God bless him. He took it like a champ and listened and didn't get irritated. Let's face it, no one likes blue balls. But I definitely can be a buzzkill sometimes. That's what happens in the ADHD mind. Your thoughts are reeling so quick that you're just grabbing at random things as they speed by. So, good thing was, it's always nice to connect and to feel someone even has a slight amount of interest or compassion or cares. It always amazes me. Having low self-esteem always, I'm a people pleaser and I share too much. Once again, I feel too much. I take on, I'm like a sponge for all the shit that comes my way. And I do it because I know what it's like to be completely overwhelmed and saturated and have no way to squeeze it out. So I try to absorb anything and help anyone with anything I can. It's but part of it is a way for me to ignore what's going on in my head. The other part is I never want anyone to feel the way that I feel. And if I can lighten the burden for anyone else, I want to. I need to. That's what I do. And everyone tells me, and I've been told more times than I could count, you shouldn't do. I'd rather be that asshole that did too much than the douchebag that didn't do enough or didn't try. And that's all I really want, is to be remembered as a good person and someone that will do what he shouldn't do to help someone else. That's me. Good, bad. It is what it is. Anyway, God, you must have been bored or fell asleep and this popped up. If you stumble across it and you're hearing these words, you were meant to. There is good in this world. And any time you can, do as much as possible to make this world just a little bit better. And if you can't make it better, please don't make it worse. That's it for now. I'm sending out positive energy to everyone and anything in the universe that needs it. Peace. Love. And never feel that you gave or loved too much. And if anyone's ever told you that, they've either been the wrong person or the wrong situation, but never, ever, ever be ashamed of doing what you felt was the right thing. Never.